All right, Rag Boy here, and I got my buddy Danny Gutierrez on my right and Rick Corral on my left. Rick is the president of Tige Boats, and we're here in Abilene, Texas. Danny, you're the designer? Is that your
Yeah.
Danny's the designer. He's the guy that designs these boats. The beautiful interiors, all that stuff, that's all Danny's responsibility, and that's why they're so awesome. We love Danny. Danny's our friend. Also, he's Hispanic, and it's kind of like that brother from another mother thing, so we kind of like that.
Hey, we got that.
Yeah, we got that going on. And
I feel left out.
yeah, Rick feels left out. He's the token white guy.
Wish, Rick.
Rick's the token white guy in this group. We had a great tour. We're going to show you at a tour of the factory. Rick, the level of quality that you guys are putting in these boats, the quality control, the attention to detail. I knew you guys cared, but I didn't know it was to that level. And it's fantastic. I mean, that commitment is amazing.
But it's our passion. It's what we do. We are boatists. We surf, we wakeboard, we use boats every day. This is what we do. It's our life. We choose to do this for a living because it's what we want to do. And so we don't want to short anybody out on our dream as well. We want to short them on their dream.
Is that like the hair club for men? You're not just a member. You're not just a president. You're a member too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right. And we kind of have a little bit, kind of an amazing story here to tell because, wake surfing, it's a great sport, and people basically have taken boats that have been made, and they start surfing behind them. And as wake surfers, we found some boats surf better than others. And for the most part, as far as I know, that's always been pretty much an accident. People make a boat, people wake surf with it, and that boat surfs great. Well, this is the new 2012 Z3 that we have here. And about 2 months ago, Danny called us up and said, we have a prototype Z3, and we want you guys to surf on it and tell us what you think. And we did, and it had some issues. And so we talked to them about it, gave them real honest feedback. And here's the amazing thing. They went back and worked on those issues. How many hours would you guys say that you guys did?
500 to 1,000 man hours.
500 to 1,000 man hours. And I'm not going to go into the details because of course there's secret sauce involved. But the details, the level of detail they went to adjust, and I'm not talking about when you see a wake and somebody can just ride it. We're talking about how good is the transition. Is a transition, that type of transition that catches your board and it's going to make you purl? How long is the wake? How usable is the pocket? How steep is it? How adjustable is the wake? Can you go from a skimboard wake to a surfer's surf wake? These are the things that we said we would love to see, and they did it. And RJ, come here for a second. So RJ, you surfed this wake today.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was just hands down amazing. When I got on the wave, the water was 60 degrees, and I still wanted to just keep going and going.
We had to pull RJ out of the water because he was having a great time. I told Rick, I said, Rick, we're not testing anymore. We can stop whenever you want because RJ's just having fun. And Rick said, we'll let him go some more because it was a great time.
I mean, everything about the wave, it was just great. It had so much length, which was incredible. I mean, not many boats can have a wave that's got that much length, and the push was amazing. And it had push all throughout the taps. A lot of times you put the taps at 4 and it gets you a nice meaty wake, and then you put the taps down to kind of shorten to lengthen the wake and kind of shallow out the wave, and you usually lose a lot of push. But with this boat, I mean, you have so much push. I mean, you don't even feel it. I mean, there's a lot of times when I was riding, how far did I get back? I was able to come back
25 feet.
I mean, it was amazing. And all
right, get out here. Okay, so Danny,
What's up?
how many different people did you get to give feedback as you were building this boat, prototyping?
We put this boat through the tests on everything. We pushed it through the wakeboarding wake and dialed that in. We had Eric Ruck out here, we had Nick Lineker out here. Spent a lot of time with them testing it for the wakeboard wake. We had Dom Lagasse, Chase Hazen, Ashley Kidd got behind it just a little bit. And so we used everybody, everyone from Wake 9 and whoever it is that comes out of you. You guys have pros out there all the time. So I think we had a solid hand in about 10 professional athletes or industry professionals really critiquing it, down to there was no pride in this deal. Our goal was for an end result that could be a boat we could send out no matter what and be competition level on every single aspect. So I'd say probably 10 people, and then when it came back here, we had another group of about 10 people involved in the development and the process, and everyone's voice got heard, and then no one person had the voice of reason. I'd like to think it was mine, but it probably wasn't. Everyone combined and gave it a go.
And on top of that, we brought I'm going to say hard butt, it's a family show, but Dennis Horton, who is a self-proclaimed wake snob. Also, at 280 pounds, if that guy can't ride the back of a wake, it doesn't have enough push. And he's got a long board, and he has to ride close, and if the wake doesn't have a good transition, then he's going to be constantly purling. And he's given the thumbs up, and we're going to show you riding. And a couple other things about how great the wake was and how good a time we had is not only was it great, the boat is making a great wake at only about a 7 or 8 degree list. Okay, our 24 VE, we're probably at 15 to 20 degrees, and we're burying it. And it's not safe. I mean, we're having fun, don't get me wrong, we're having a great time, but it's not really safe, so we don't recommend it to other people. This boat, the way we had it at a competition level wake, the rub rail was still that high off the water. Very, very safe. And what Danny was showing me the other day, they worked on the spray of the boat. It was windy today, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, and I didn't get a single drop on my back sitting in the ballast buoy seat. Normally, any wind in any boat I am, we go surfing, I get drenched. Amazing what the difference was. So you're going to see us out on this boat a lot because I already told Danny that if I have to, we're going to hook. We rented a Crown Victoria. I'm going to tow it home with the Crown Victoria because this boat is amazing and we got to have it. I mean, you're going to see a lot of it.
Sorry, we won't let you be seated in this boat behind the Crown Victoria. We have standards.
I'm borrowing your truck. I'm borrowing Rick's truck. You heard it from him. I'm borrowing his truck.
Let's take the Yukon.
That's right. I'm going to bring Dennis. Come here. You got to. We called you the hard butt of wake surfing. So Dennis, what's your thumbs up, thumbs down?
I'll tell you what, this is one of the best wakes I've ever ridden, and I've ridden the best Supremes, Enzos, all of them. This thing had so much push, even when we had it low. Even when it was short, had plenty of push to keep me going, and that's not an easy thing when you weigh on it as much as I do.
Yeah, and we have skimboarders and surf style people behind our boat. And sometimes skimboarders, the Tige wake's a little steeper, but one of the things we requested is a boat that adjusts from steep down to shallow so it will be pleasing to both skimboarders, and this boat's got that. So, you know what, there's going to be so many more videos to come, and we're going to show this wake with so many different riders, so we won't bore you, but huge thumbs up to all of Tige, and we had a great trip to Abilene. All right, Ragboy here.
RJ.
And we're going to talk about what we got going on here. Right now, this is stock ballast. So, and this boat didn't even have the bigger rear tank. So
the
it only
Z3,
had,
right?
Yeah, the Z3. It only had 650 pounds on each side in the rear. And so this is just stock ballast, and we put taps at 2. And you can see how beautiful the shape is. And now we started at taps 2. Now we're going to 5. And you can see how adjustable the wake is. How the wake gets bigger, and on top of that it got steeper. And here's the amazing thing though, RJ, it didn't get shorter.
No, not even you couldn't even feel it. I think I mentioned here in the video that even when you went from 2 to 5 on the taps, you didn't lose any length. It's amazing.
Yeah, because all the other boats that we've pretty much been on, at least the Tiges, because the Tiges give you more adjustability with the convex V hull.
Definitely.
Where some boats, the tap plates don't do that. And it didn't shorten. Now here's Dennis. This is again stock ballast. This is the smaller wake, and we started with taps at 5 because normally Dennis, you cannot give him. You have to give him a lot of taps because he gives more push, especially with in a stock situation. But when it's that steep, he's got such a big board and he's riding so close to the boat. He was getting caught in the transition a little bit.
Yeah, when the wave's steeper, so when you put the taps up, it usually makes the wave steeper on Tigas, and when its taps go up, the transition gets more hard.
Yeah, so now he's showing you that look, the transition is fine. He's riding up there and it's not catching him.
Yeah, this is
we
taps
brought the
3.
taps down. but you can't see his face. He was totally shocked when we put the taps down to 2 or 3. The transition flattened out. The length of the wake didn't change, but he still has tons of push. And you'll see here in a second that even with the taps down, he had to ride in the back. Like whenever we ride with Frank Walter or Dennis, you got to keep the taps up because you got to keep that push up. For whatever reason, the Z3 was putting out a lot of push, and it did change.
It was intense, the amount of push. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, no matter where you were on the taps, where you were on the wake, the push was always just phenomenal.
Yeah, and you can see Dennis. So this is stock ballast again, taps at 2 or 3, and you can see how the wake shape has flattened out. The shape definitely seems more like a skim type wake.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to Dennis, where we taps started at 5, and this is with, you can hear the motor working harder, because now we're at about 2,400 pounds of ballast, water ballast in the boat. And, you know, we got a wake that's just about waist high if he comes all the way forward. One thing I should mention, it was about 20 mile an hour winds, so there's a lot of spray. Also, Tige, this boat was rushed through the line. It did not have a, well, it wasn't rushed through the line. They pulled it out before it was finished. It didn't have the new taps plate that's supposed to take away that wash. So Tige is still going to be adding a new taps plate that will remove that extra wash that you see that gets up in your facial area. You can still see how beautiful shape the wake is.
And the wash is barely even a problem. I mean, you can just see right here, it's barely even coming on top of the wave. It's just more cosmetic than it is anything
Also,
else.
you can see the face of the wake is like our 24VE because Tige has completely filled in the bottom of the swim deck. It is totally smooth. Now here, just as a point of reference, here's Frank surfing on 20 feet. Now keep in mind, this 24VE set up this day, it's got 3,200 pounds of ballast and is leaned over at like 15 degrees at least. And but you can see that beautiful smooth wake, and we had to get that on the 24VE by creating an aluminum swim deck with a perfectly smooth bottom. And if you look back now at the Z3, you're going to see that it has that, even though it's not blue, look at, there's no turbulence in the wake. It's perfectly smooth, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
When the wave got smaller, when you had your taps down to 2 or 3, it was made more of a double lip.
Now,
on the wave.
like you can see, he went from 2, now we're up to like 5 or 6. Look at how big and steep the wake just got.
Yeah, and also when the taps go up, the better the face of the wave turns, in my opinion. It gets more smoother, doesn't have a double lip or cut inside of it. It just gets this really nice launching.
And that's
feel.
where you, as a surf style person, that's the kind of wake you like.
Yeah, that's
where
preference.
When the skimboarders that we ride with, they like that shallower wake that has almost that
kind of a
feature.
double lip. Yeah,
It's not a double lip, but it's like a,
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe the shape, but you saw it when we were down taps 2. Once we got the taps up to about 7, the wake started to distort at the top, which we've seen. But the RZ2, we could only go from 1 to 3. This boat gave us adjustability from 1 to 6 on the taps, and the wake got shallower than you would on the RZ2, and at least as steep. So I really think this boat's going to appeal to both skimmers. Oh, look at that, how far back you are. Look, it taps all the way up, and you're still able to go that far back.
Yeah.
I don't know how it doesn't change
I
the
don't
length.
know. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And
so,
the curl doesn't grab your feet either. You know, a lot of times the curl can just suck your foot back. This curl's higher up, so it's not as much of a problem.
Yeah. Amazing boat. I think, RJ, I think this is like Wakesurf history. It's like, as far as I know, the first boat that was manufactured to make sure it made a great surf wake. And when they put that new taps plate on that is going to remove that extra wash.
Yeah, it's going to be just amazing.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait. All right. So that's Ragboy and RJ signing off.